Imagine living in the Middle Ages where a black cat could seal your fate, an eclipse was a sign of the apocalypse, and a sneeze could mean death. Yeah, a sneeze. In medieval times, fear ruled every moment, because to them, the world was filled with dark omens and deadly superstitions. With widespread ignorance and illiteracy, people filled the gaps in their understanding with chilling myths, witchcraft, and curses. Let's dive into some of the most shocking superstitions that kept medieval people awake at night. And speaking of superstitions, do you know why we say bless you after someone sneezes? Stick around to the end to find out. Number 1. Burying a stolen shoe under a house for protection. These days, people do all sorts of things to protect their homes. Locks, alarms, cameras, even guard dogs and beyond. But if you lived in the Middle Ages, your idea of home security would have been a stolen shoe under the house. Obviously to us this sounds ridiculous, but to them, it was powerful magic. The shoe had to be stolen because an item taken without permission was believed to absorb supernatural energy strong enough to ward off curses, demons, and witches. So much for thou shalt not steal, eh? But why a shoe? Well, people believe that shoes held the essence of their owner, like a fingerprint of their soul. Although I guess toe print would be more appropriate. Burying one beneath the house was said to confuse evil spirits, trapping them in the shoe and preventing them from harming the family inside. The more worn and smelly the shoe, the better, because it carried more of the owner's essence, making it even more effective. Basically, if you're someone with really stinky feet, chances are your shoes were getting pretty regularly stolen. But here's the wackier part. These hidden shoes are still being discovered in medieval houses today. Were these people just that desperate, or did they really see something lurking in the dark? Either way, if they feared spirits sneaking into their homes, just wait until you hear why they never looked into a well at night. Number 2. Avoid looking into a well at night. You know that unsettling feeling when you're alone at night and it suddenly feels like someone's watching you? It's pretty common among kids, but medieval people had a terrifying explanation for it: wells. Back then, looking into one after dark wasn't just creepy, it was dangerous. Wells were believed to be portals to the underworld, places where spirits, demons, or even the souls of the drowned waited in the water below. Some claimed that if you peered in, you'd see your own death reflected back at you. Others swore they heard strange whispers and voices trying to lure them closer. So that's what inspired that girl in the well from The Ring. And strangely enough, it wasn't just fear-mongering. People did mysteriously vanish near wells all the time. Was it just people falling in by accident, or did something pull them in? Some even went as far as to believe that wells needed a sacrifice, that they demanded life in exchange for the water they provided. Gotta wonder how the people who made the wells to begin with felt. Number 3. Black cats could steal your soul while you slept. Today, black cats are just adorable pets, as 5 minutes on Facebook will let you know. But to people in the Middle Ages, they were your worst nightmare. Back then, people believed black cats weren't just bad luck, but soul-stealing monsters, and the most dangerous time to have them near you was when you slept. Somehow, it came to be believed that if a black cat curled up on your chest at night, it wasn't keeping you warm, it was sucking the life right out of you. Some claimed they could steal your breath, leaving you gasping for air. I mean, I guess if there's like 20 of them on your chest at once, that might make sense, but I digress. Others believe that if a cat stared into your eyes too long, it could pull your soul straight from your body. So where did this nonsensical fear come from? People believed black cats were connected to witches, either as their magical pets or even witches in disguise. So, naturally, killing one was considered the only way to break their dark magic. I guarantee you that cats today are purring in relief that the stupid humans finally figured out that was malarkey. Number 4. Holding your breath while walking past a graveyard. It's an old superstition to hold your breath while passing a graveyard, and it goes way back to the medieval belief that the dead could snatch the breath of the living. And there goes any thought I had of it having anything to do with stench. People thought graveyards weren't just resting places, they were doorways to the afterlife, and some of the spirits buried there weren't exactly at peace. If you breathed while passing a graveyard, it was said that a lost soul could ride your breath straight into your body. Some even believed the deceased were jealous of the living and would steal their life force if given the chance. Oh, and if you accidentally inhale near an open grave, even worse. That meant you were next to die. So some people took extra precautions, like covering their mouths, whispering prayers, or even running past cemeteries just to be safe. Safe to say grave running wasn't a thing during these times. Number 5. Whistling indoors invited the devil. Whistling a happy tune sounds harmless, right? I mean, I sure wish I could do it. But not if you were in the Middle Ages. Back then, whistling wasn't just annoying, it was considered an invitation to the devil himself. People believed that certain sounds, especially whistling at night, could summon evil spirits. Some even thought the devil would hear it and walk right into your home. So where did this fear come from? Many believed that whistling mimicked the voices of spirits, tricking demons into thinking they were being called. Sailors had their own version of this superstition. They believed whistling on a ship angered the wind, bringing storms and shipwrecks. Geez, God help any musicians who incorporated whistling into their songs. Gotta wonder, did all these fears make life harder? Did believing in so many superstitions cause unnecessary fear, broken relationships, and anxiety? Absolutely. Living in constant fear of bad luck or supernatural punishment must have been exhausting. Imagine avoiding certain actions, days, and numbers simply out of superstitious beliefs. That's right, even days and numbers were not safe from being considered dangerous, and I'll get to that right after you press the like and subscribe button down below. Don't worry, there's no superstitions with that one. We really appreciate you. Number 6. Touching the right hand of a man before being executed. In the Middle Ages, people believed that death wasn't just the end of a life, it was also supposed to have some kind of mystical power, not too much unlike what you see in video games these days. This is why touching the right hand of a condemned man was thought to, ironically, bring good luck, healing, and even protection from curses. Some people believed that the right hand was the hand of action and strength, the part of the body still connected to life before death severed it, though more likely it was just glorified righty supremacy. Execution sites would sometimes be crowded with people desperate to grab the prisoner's hand, hoping to absorb their lingering life force. And it wasn't just luck. Some people thought the touch could cure diseases or break hexes. Quite interesting how people thought good fortune could come from a bad person. But if you thought the prospect of breaking a curse was powerful, breaking a mirror was something people feared even more. Number 7. Breaking a mirror brought 7 years of bad luck. How appropriate that this myth is number 7 on the list, and probably the first one that you've actually heard about before. But yeah, in the Middle Ages, this was downright terrifying. People believed that mirrors weren't just reflective glass, they were windows to the soul. Breaking one wasn't just considered clumsy, it meant shattering a piece of yourself. The 7 years bad luck part likely came from the Romans, who thought the body renewed itself every 7 years. Thus, if you broke a mirror, your soul would remain damaged and unlucky until it regenerated. Some believed the cracks let spirits escape, while others feared the broken reflection meant death was near. But some people thought of remedies to avoid disaster. One remedy was to bury the broken pieces under the moonlight. Another was to wash your face in the shard's reflection to reset your soul. And yet another was to wait until 7 hours after to pick up the mess that you've just made on the floor. Those doing that second one, I hope they were careful, because back then, a simple cut literally could kill you. Number 8. Lucky horseshoe over a door. Finally, something that doesn't have to do with death and destruction, huh? Have you ever seen a horseshoe hanging over a doorway? You can still find them today in homes, barns, pubs, and even businesses, especially in rural areas and historic towns. But this isn't just a quirky decorative touch, it's an ancient belief in protection and luck that dates back to the Middle Ages. Back then, people believed that iron had the power to ward off evil spirits, witches, and even the devil himself. Since horseshoes were made of iron and had a crescent shape, they were thought to be extra powerful. But there was a catch. The horseshoe had to come off the horse by natural means and not be taken off by a human. It also mattered how it was hung. Some believed that if the horseshoe was placed with the open end facing up, it would catch and hold good luck like a cup, while others believed that it should face downwards so luck would shower over anyone who walked through the door. Naturally, blacksmiths were also considered lucky since they worked with iron and fire. Some people even believed that nailing a horseshoe with 7 nails made it even more powerful. Well, I can certainly tell you which superstition on this list is my favorite. Number 9. The 3 Evil Mondays. It's no secret that a lot of people hate Mondays, but in medieval times, 3 specific Mondays each year were full of bad luck, disaster, and misfortune. These superstitions likely came from old legends. The first Monday in April was feared because Cain, the son of Adam, killed his brother Abel out of jealousy, making it a symbol of betrayal and sin. The second in August was linked to 2 ancient cities in the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah, that were destroyed by fire from heaven, and the last Monday of December was believed to be the day Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus for 30 silver coins, hanged himself out of guilt. Some believe that illnesses spread faster and that making big decisions on these Mondays would lead to inevitable failure. In an effort to eradicate these superstitions, the Christian Church named each of these days after one or more saints. But did it work? Nope. The belief in the 3 Evil Mondays continued well into the 19th century. Though some might argue it's even worse nowadays because most people just don't like Mondays. Number 10. The Unlucky Number 13. If you thought Friday the 13th was a title they picked out of thin air, sit tight, because this may just be the most rooted superstition of all. Fear of the number 13 is a superstition that still persists even today. Some buildings go as far as skipping the 13th floor, major airlines might leave out a row 13, and some hotels don't have a room 13. But where did this fear come from? One theory traces it back to Norse mythology, where Loki, the trickster god, was the 13th guest at a feast and caused chaos. Another has roots in Christian mythology, as Judas was the 13th guest at the Last Supper before betraying Jesus. During the Middle Ages, this fear grew stronger. Some people believe that if 13 people dined together, one would die within a year. Fun fact, fear of the number 13 even has a name, triskaidekaphobia. Try saying that 13 times fast, and write it down in the comments if you succeeded on your first attempt. Bonus: sneezing could expel your soul. Now it's time for the bonus superstition we promised at the beginning. Ever wondered why people say "bless you" after a sneeze? In the Middle Ages, sneezing wasn't considered just a reflex, it was dangerous. Many people believed that if you sneezed, your soul could momentarily leave your body, making you vulnerable to evil spirits. Some even thought demons could steal your soul mid-sneeze. Boy, I would have been screwed in the Middle Ages because I sneeze whenever I step into bright light. So to prevent any soul stealing, people would quickly say "God bless you" to protect the sneezer. The belief became so widespread that even today we instinctively say "bless you" to someone after they sneeze, without even realizing that it comes from medieval superstition half the time. You know, if these superstitions shaped centuries of fear, what beliefs do we hold today that future generations might think we were just as silly for fearing? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thanks for sticking around to the end, folks, and now check out this interesting video on screen.